Now, 10 p.m. is the deadline for bidders to submit their final bids to buy Manchester United. The Glazers set a valuation of £6 billion back in November of last year, and that sparked interest from Qatari, American and UK businessmen. But by the end of this drawn-out process, could the current owners end up staying in charge? I'm going to ask that to our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, who joins us now. Before I get to the Glazers, Qataris, third and final bid going in. Is that the case?
Look, my information is that obviously we know the Qataris will be making another bid for Manchester United. They've been very consistent from day one. They want to buy the club, they want to buy 100% of the club, and their bid is going to be debt-free. What I've been told is that their bid is going to be rational, very rational, I was told.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that they're not going to dance to the Glazers' tune. I think there's a feeling that this process has been going on for 5 months now. It didn't need to be this long. We've always known that the Qataris want to buy Manchester United. Sheikh Jassim wants to buy the club. And there's a feeling, I think, that there have been a lot of leaks, a lot of manoeuvring to try and get Sheikh Jassim to pay more. And I think he's not going to do that. He's ignoring all the noise around the other bids. He's focused on his own bid. He'll be putting that bid in. And I think as far as he's concerned, he thinks the Glazers want to sell the club. He thinks they definitely want to sell the club. And he believes that his bid is rational. And it's by far the best bid on the table because he's got the money to buy United, give it to the Glazers. Thank you very much. Good night, Glazers. They can leave with their pot of cash. And he's also got another pile of money ready to be spent on transfers, to be spent on Old Trafford, to be spent on the training ground, and to be spent on the infrastructure and the investment in the local area around Old Trafford. He's got all that. It's going to be put on the table in front of the Glazers. And if they don't want to accept it, fine. That's it. He's done his best.
All right, rational. The Glazers want £6 billion. If it's rational, does that mean they're not going to get £6 billion?
Look, a lot of people think £6 billion is an outlandish, incredible figure to pay for a football club that loses money, a football club that has got debts, thanks to the Glazers, of around £1 billion. But this is the kind of figure that these big clubs are changing hands for at the moment. A couple of weeks ago, Washington Commanders, NFL, $6 billion they went for. That is around £5 billion. So I think the Glazers think £6 billion at least is a fair price for one of the most famous sporting institutions in the world. Now, do I think the Qataris are going to offer £6 billion? I'm not sure. I'm not sure they're going to get close enough to that figure to tempt the Glazers. But they are going to put the best bid on the table. That is what I'm being told.
If the Glazers were to get £6 billion, it's unpopular this, but that is genius business. If they put 200 million in and take out £6 billion, that is the business community will hold them on their shoulders and march them around and go, that's how you do business, won't they?
I mean, depending on how you look at it, it's an incredible...
Take the emotion out.
Take the emotion
out. That's great business, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Well, 18 years ago, they came along, they bought Manchester United for £790 million. Only £200 million of that was their own money. The rest of it, £590 million, they borrowed. As soon as they got the keys to Manchester United, that £590 million, they loaded that onto Manchester United. For the past 18 years, Manchester United have been paying off that debt. Guess what? 18 years later, the debt is still £500 million, even though they've been paying out more than £1 billion, I think it is, in interest, bank charges, dividends as well to the owners. I mean, financially, it's been an incredible ride for the Glazers. And if they sell for £6 billion, as you rightly say, they will have made a profit of something like £5.8 billion. And the icing on the cake, as far as they're concerned as well, is I was lucky enough to go to the Cayman Islands last summer, and I went and found Manchester United's registered office, which used to be in Old Trafford. It was Old Trafford for 100 years. The Glazers came along, moved it to the Cayman Islands. Why did they do that? To minimise any tax they will have to pay if they sell Manchester United. And when they do sell Manchester United, I'm afraid the tax rates in the Cayman Islands are totally different to the ones in the UK. So I don't think the UK taxpayer or the UK exchequer will be getting the capital gains tax that a lot of people think they would be due from the sale of Manchester United, arguably United Kingdom's most famous sporting institution.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Is Sir Jim Ratcliffe still in this race?
Yes, he is in this race. He will be bidding as well. It was reported first in the Times and the Daily Mail, I think 2 days ago, that one of the proposals that he will be putting forward would involve the Glazers actually staying. What Sir Jim Ratcliffe will do is try and buy just over 50% of Manchester United's shares.
So he's never had the money, has he?
Well, some people would say that. He obviously is not as rich as the Qataris and Sheikh Jassim. He's a very, very rich man himself in his own right. A few years ago, he was the richest man in the United Kingdom. You're seeing pictures of him last month when he went on his visit to Old Trafford and Carrington to have a look around, kick the tyres of what he was going to buy. But I think the crucial difference between him and the Qataris, as you say, is the Qataris want to buy 100% of Manchester United. So Jim Ratcliffe, even if he was going to buy 70%, he would need to borrow money. And what fans are worried about is that that would be more debt for the club. Although he has said that that debt would not be loaded onto the club. His company, INEOS, would take care of that.
And who are Elliott?
Well, Elliott are one of the US investment funds who are interested also in buying a minority stake in United. Those are the kind of bids they've been putting forward. Buy a small stake in Manchester United, or they're willing to finance some of the other offers. So they've been saying to people like Sir Jim Ratcliffe, we could join with you, we could lend you money. Or they've been saying to the Glazers themselves, look, we can lend you the money to do up Old Trafford and the training ground in return for a percentage stake in the club. So those kind of bids will be going in this evening as well. A lot of people think the Glazers are not serious about selling. They're only going to sell a minority stake. People close to the Qataris think all along the Glazers are very, very serious about selling, but obviously it's up to the Glazers. And one other final point I want to make is the 10 p.m. deadline is tonight. But look, last time around when we had a deadline, we had, I think, Sir Jim Ratcliffe bidding a day late, the Qataris bidding 2 or 3 days late. So this is a deadline that's been imposed by the Glazers and Rain. It is not a hard and fast deadline. The Qataris could say this evening, you know what, we've got better things to do tonight. We're not in the mood for bidding. We're going to wait until Monday to put our bid in. There's nothing stopping them or anyone else from doing that.